So wake up in the morning, early, and Dennis is calling me, and we get this story that Corey Feldman was stabbed, and I'm listening to Dennis.
It's always, I have to say this, and you know this. When the phone rings before 4 o'clock and you know it's Dennis, you always think this is going to be interesting. I was not expecting this, but yes, he says Corey Feldman's been stabbed.
Yeah. That's a headline.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really weird. So at about 11:15 last night, Corey was going down Ventura Boulevard when he claims there was a car following him. His bodyguard who was in the car next to him shined a flashlight in the car. This ended up being something when they got stopped to the next stoplight. One guy got out of the passenger side, one guy got out of the driver's side. They both went to different sides of the car.
Of the other car.
Right, they went up to Corey's car, who opens up the door, and Corey alleged he was stabbed with a syringe or a knife or something, while the bodyguard was being dealt with the other guy.
So Corey then took himself to the hospital, called 911, then went to the hospital because he was afraid that somebody injected him with something. He thought it was a syringe. Cops said they saw a mark on his abdomen.
I was told it was a very, very minute, small mark, like a scratch almost.
Well, it could be an injection.
Yeah. I mean, if it's an injection and you don't know.
Anything is possible.
So he kind of freaked out, obviously, and then went to the hospital. I guess he's okay. He left the hospital. But it just seemed like this. Now, Dennis, it sounds like this might be a road rage incident.
Yeah, from what I've talked to, people I've talked to say this is a road rage incident. This does not have anything to do with his allegations about a pedophile ring or anything like that. There's no evidence of that.
Well, that's
he alluded to that in his tweets.
Corey said,
right.
Yes. He thought that it was something.
Which is one of the reasons he has bodyguards right now.
Right, but from law enforcement sources, there's nothing to indicate that right now.
But they are investigating it, right?
Oh, fully. They are investigating assault with a deadly weapon stemming from a road rage incident, not an attempted murder like some people have said.
Now, that's interesting because if it's a syringe, I don't necessarily think you would call it assault with a deadly weapon. It's assault for sure.
Right,
You know
well,
what I mean?
A syringe can be because it could have something.
It can be, but it's not an inherent. If it had something inside of it, for sure. But
I think it's a weapon. I think anything as a weapon makes it that level.
Every weapon is not a deadly weapon, and I don't think that a syringe would qualify as a deadly weapon. It's still going to be assault, but it just kind of struck me because initially we thought it was a knife, right?
Yeah, I mean, initially it was just that he had been stabbed, so you immediately think it's a knife, and then you saw the
original call
was
stabbed in the abdomen, and took himself to the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. Was my original call at 3:30 this morning.
Real quick, is Charlie there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
So you talked to the bodyguard?
Yeah, Harvey and Charles. I actually spoke to the bodyguard that was with Corey, and he had seen the puncture wound himself and wasn't gushing and bleeding or anything like that. But like you guys said, he was taken to the hospital, and they did a bunch of tests to see if there was any trace of drugs or if he was injected with anything. All those tests came back negative, and he was cleared to go.
Charlie, there are some people who are saying, that he's just making this up and this and that. Did the bodyguard say he heard anything like a scream or a reaction to it at the time it happened?
So at the time that Corey was allegedly stabbed, I guess, the bodyguard was actually standing outside of the vehicle speaking with one of the men in the other car.
Right.
And so when he got back in the car and it seemed like everything was settled, that's when Corey told the bodyguard, I've been stabbed. But the bodyguard never heard a scream or didn't even know that somebody else from the other vehicle got in the car and stabbed Corey.
Listen, in a road rage incident, everybody...
Yeah, and one more thing about that, he mentioned that the first time that one of the gentlemen got out of the car to speak with the bodyguard, he said that the males told him, just shoot me, you're gonna have to shoot me. And the bodyguard told him, I don't even have a gun. Why would I shoot you? I just want to go home. It's a Tuesday night.
And the guy was, shoot me?
Yeah, he mentioned that, and he said, like, let's go, man, let's go. Kind of, making them feel super scared. And then here Corey says he got stabbed. So it seemed like a very scary situation.
Hi, I'm Worthington from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I completely disagree. I think that it was a road rage incident where it was a car full versus a car full. And to me, it seems like Corey's team, unfortunately, his security lost. And one little scratch, that's all I could say about it, was just one little scratch. If you look at it, it just completely shows that it was pretty much a car full versus a car full getting into an altercation from one red light to the next.
Yeah.